Who the hell do you think I am? Of course, it's me, TheDomotaku. How are you doing, everyone? I just came back from the theater watching PROMARE? PROMARE? I was assuming it was Premiere for a second because of the spelling, but it's actually PROMARE. And if you don't know this movie, this is actually Studio Trigger's newest series after Darling in the Franxx. And I have to say, it was awesome. It was really great. I was super debating whether to see this movie or not. I was like, do I really want to spend my money and go out into the theater and watch it? I don't know. But I'm glad I did because it was super great and I was super excited throughout the whole thing. And now I'm here telling you guys about this movie. So it's really hard to talk about this movie without talking about spoilers. So I'm going to do some non-spoiler stuff first, generic and whatnot. And then we get on to spoilers because wow, this movie is like went in so many things that I didn't expect it to, so let's talk about it. So PROMARE, if you guys haven't seen the trailer, is about our main character Gallows and his firefighting team who combat fires made by this burning terrorist group. I don't remember their name exactly. But that's about it. That's all we get, right? So overall, I thought that the story was really great. Now, I came into this movie in a generic sense. I didn't know too much about it. I saw bits of the trailer, and I was like, oh, it's about like firefighting or something like that. And then I had to watch some reviews about the movie, just like, do I really feel like watching this movie? And I'm glad I did. I still enjoyed it. And then the story went, well, it's not like new to me, but it went in this direction that I really like somewhat didn't see, but somewhat didn't. I literally liked the story throughout the whole thing, and it made sense. And I can't talk about that without spoilers, so stay tuned for the spoiler section. Characters! So characters, you might recognize some of the character designs. Of course, Kamina. It's just, our main character Gallows looks like freaking Kamina, and that was my first like thought when I saw the trailer of this movie, and our character was like, is that you, Kamina? But it's not. So Gallows, our main character, is, of course, he looks like Kamina to an extent. He doesn't wear the glasses or anything, but, you know, he's not exactly Kamina. Sure, he has his personality to an extent, and, like, his pride and, like, manliness and whatnot, or, you know, go rush into things and whatnot, and power and guts and stuff like that. But, I didn't see Kamina. He's not exactly copy and paste Kamina, even though his hair is just, like, I see Kamina sometimes when I see him. Overall, in terms of characters, I really like the main character and the other supporting cast. Although I have a little nitpick about it because there's like, you see in the trailer that Gallows and his team, like his firefighting team, like there's like about 5 or 6 members of them. And I like them all, but like we don't get too much screen time with them. And I kind of get it considering they're like, well, I don't know how to put it, but like, I like all the characters, don't get me wrong, but like they don't get too much screen time. Like one does because she's like, I don't know, she's like important to the story, I guess. You have like little typical character, like what do you call it, characteristics. You have like the boss character, you have one who's like a super duper hacker and computer nerd and whatnot. You have one who's like quiet and glasses, one who's big and muscular and strong, and then you have like a rat. You have a rat in the firefighting team. I don't know why that's there, but I'm pretty sure it might be a parody or a reference to like Gurren Lagann. There might be a lot of references for all past Trigger animes that I might not have caught of, but I'm pretty sure one of them stands out to me the most, but we'll see. Well, of course the one is Kamina too, but there's another one. So yeah, the characters, even though I liked them towards the end, throughout the whole film, they don't really get too much screen time, mostly just one does. And she's like, I wouldn't say like the lead female or something like that, or like the love interest, but she's just like, she's just there, okay? She just gets more screen time than the others. And what else? The music. Oh, I have to talk about the music because the music is not done. The music was done by Hiroyuki Sawano. If you guys don't know that name, you probably should, considering if you watched Attack on Titan, Guilty Crown, Kabaneri, then he does the music for all those series. And recently, League of Legends music video, Light and Shadow, if you guys watched that, then that was freaking awesome. As a fellow League player, or past League player. But yeah, he does the music in this movie, and I thought it was super great. I didn't know that he did the music for this movie. And when the first song came in the very beginning of the movie, I'm just like, wait a minute, I recognize this sound. Is that you, Hiroki Sawano? It's like, it's really good, honestly. And I think it really fits for this whole movie, and the style and the animation. That's where I'm going to next. The animation in this movie is trigger happy. It's just trigger happy. Honestly, the visuals in this movie were super great, and of course they have the movie budget, so they can go all out in the animation and style. They do a lot of like, what do you call it, 3D and 2D mixing, and I thought it was okay. It didn't bother me too much. And of course, in terms of animation, anyways, the animation's overall great, and of course Trigger going really great in this movie. Oh, if you saw in the trailer, there's also like mechs and a lot of action, and of course they're dealing with fires and firefighting, so the fire effect looks really nice. They have to combat it with like ice and whatnot. I really like all the effects in the movie. It really looks nice. So yeah, story is overall really, I like the story. It's really great, and it might be predictable to an extent, but I still liked it overall. And the way they did it was great throughout the film. I like that. The characters, I like the characters, even though some of them get more screen time than the others, but I still enjoyed them. The animation is really great. And of course, trigger happy in the animation. I'm gonna use that all the time. Sound and music. Oh, so here it is. I love that song so much. I'm gonna get the soundtrack after this. But the only negative I had was that nitpick about some of the characters on the firefighting team not getting screen time than the rest. Because, you know, in the beginning they sort of have this little, you know, fight scene and the action thing where you have them work together and stuff like that. I think I enjoyed that a lot. But then afterwards, it's mostly focus on Gallows and our other character, who is actually, you know, part of the, he's in the poster, I forget. Sorry, hacks. His name's Leo, and he's actually the one with like the greenish light hair. He's actually part of the fire terrorist group thing that's causing the thing. He's in the trailer as well, and his character is really awesome too. I really like him, and that's him. Yes, I actually thought it was a girl at first from the poster, but I can't blame it. He had like super, like not like super long, but like enough long hair, is fluffy and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, is that a girl? Okay, the leader of the fire terrorist thing group is a girl, but it wasn't. It's a guy. So I'm just like, oh, okay, well, whatever. It doesn't really matter to me that it's a girl or a guy. But yeah. So I really like all the characters, even the antagonists to an extent. And yeah, if you are a fan of Trigger and like all the past works like Darling Franks, I can't think right now. Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill, and you just like Trigger, this movie is great for you. You'll really enjoy it. So it's nice. I don't know if you guys can see it anymore because I don't know, today was the last showing for me, which is like September 19th for subbed. I watched it subbed, and I don't know if you watched it dubbed, but if you watched it dubbed, then leave in the comments below how do you guys thought about the movie, because I'm curious. So, with all that said and done, PROMARE is great, and I'm super happy that I watched it, and I went on my way, and I paid the money and set my ass down there to see it, because I was super debating to watch it in the beginning. And my expectations were, I wouldn't say low, but I kind of went in with like not too much expectation of this movie, and then when I came out, I was just like, whoa, this is just awesome! Who the hell do you think I am? So yeah, that's PROMARE for you guys. And stay tuned for spoilers! Did you guys leave yet? Okay. If you're here, we're talking about spoilers. So, where do I begin with the spoilers in this movie? I honestly really liked, well, I like the fact that the Burnish, that's what the people who can do all the fire powers, and like Leo and his crew, the burning terrorist group, right? They're called Burnish, right? And I didn't expect, I say this all the time, I didn't expect them to be like played out as like victims and stuff, but then they did hint that in the beginning of the first 30 minutes in the movie, so I'm just like, oh, I kind of see where this is going, but let's see how it plays out and how they explain it, and I really like it. So essentially, the Burnish people are the people like mutants to an extent. So if you guys watch X-Men or anything like that, they're like mutants, basically like that. So they have this mutation in their body that allows them to, you know, firebend and whatnot. And people are afraid of them and discriminate them a lot. And because of that, you know, the burning terrorist group that, you know, what they do is they have to essentially like light their flames because they have to, and it's their habit. So interestingly enough, when I first heard that they don't kill people and that they take pride in, like, you know, trying to like use their powers and stuff, because they have to light their fire to stay alive, I guess. And they don't ever try to harm people. They always try to make sure that there's a way out for the people. And I'm just like, oh, interesting. And of course, the whole reasoning for that is super complicated. Actually, now that I think about it, the plot's super complicated from what the trailer shows you. So, yeah, I really like how they were, they were depicted as like these people who are just trying to get by. It's essentially like X-Men, mutants. They're different from people, and people fear them, and they try to control them and exploit them and manipulate them. And that's why the Burning terrorist group exists, because they wanted to free their brethren who've been captured and tortured and human experimented on by the government, who want to use their powers to open up a portal into space to go to another planet, because Earth is currently being the magma in the Earth's core is rising, and it's gonna explode on the world and of course destroy the world and make it uninhabitable. Super complicated plot than just me. Like, when I went to this movie, it's like, oh, this movie is about firefighting, and then after the movie I was like, whoa, there's just so much shit going on in this movie, and it blows my mind, and I really love that. Like, it's whole really different. Yeah, and essentially because of this reason, you have our two main characters, Gallus and I'm sorry, Hax. I thought his name was Philo for a second, but it's Leo. You have them team up and have this awesome, like, Gurren Lagann moment where they're just like, oh yeah, we have to work together to, save the world, essentially. And they're fighting a giant robot. And then, of course, they're like, oh, I don't, like, what's wrong? Like, you're not piloting wrong. Is everything okay? It's like, no, I can't pilot this robot because it doesn't look cool. There's just so much funny, like, there's just a lot of funny moments in this movie. I really like it too. I should have said them in the spoilers, or the non-spoiler stuff, darn it. Anyway, so, I really like the whole plot and that twist, how they explain everything, because it all makes sense in the end. And once of course, like I said in the beginning, I thought this was a simple movie about combating fires. I thought it'd be like Leo versus Gallus in the whole movie and stuff, but it's not. It's actually against the whole society and the government, who's trying to hide the fact that the Burnish people, the people who can firebend, they're actually people who have compatibility linked with an alien race. So this is the other complicated part, and I'm just like, it makes sense, but then wow, when you say it in person, it's so weird. So these aliens called PROMAREs, I believe, are like these little fireball things that have to live through combustion, which is like a scientific explosion or fire or whatever. And essentially, through some kind of space dimensional thing, they merged into their world, into the Earth's core, and thus that's how people from Earth got linked with the PROMAREs and can use their ability to firebend and whatnot. And of course, being linked with them, their only way to live, the PROMAREs, is to keep breathing their fire, because essentially if you put the fires live as long as they keep burning and stuff, but then if you put it out, then they die, right? So it makes sense why they have to use their abilities and cause light their fires and whatnot. That's why the terrorist group tries to do their survive, but then they don't try to kill people. So I was like really interested and like amazed by how this like attention to detail and stuff. What else? So that's like the whole crazy plot after that you find out towards the end of the movie. I'm just like, oh, that makes so much sense. The robot fights are so freaking great. I should have said that in the spoilers section, darn it. The robot fights were awesome. I really like him, and of course they do a lot of like, I don't know if it's me or not, but they do a lot of Gurren Lagann sort of stuff. Well, actually Darling in the Franxx too, but not as like comedic as like Gurren Lagann, because like you always have like Gallus doing modes where he's freaking monologuing and shit, and then he has like posing and stuff. It's like, who the hell poses in the middle of their fight? And freaking our #1 idiot does in the universe, and that was hella funny. And I really like the synergy between Gallus and Leo. I really like that. And then the unexpected, well, I wouldn't say unexpected, but then they showed off in the movie in the beginning that you can save a Burnish person's life, or give your energy to them by kissing them. And then like when it happened in the end with Gallus and Leo, I was like, oh, good job, good on you. I don't really mind. It's hella funny, and they played it for comedic effect. And essentially the issue, well, not the issue, like I like the whole morality thing with the whole, like, the Earth is like, what do you call it, like rising, and then of course it's going to be inhabitable, and your option is to either save it or flee from it, and that is what the antagonist and our main characters represent. Our antagonist represents trying to run away from the problem instead of using your sciences and power to stop it in any means necessary, and our main characters who are like, we don't run from things, and we would rather take it head on and worry about the consequences later, sort of thing. And I love it, like that sort of like theme that they had with each other, those morality sort of stuff. And essentially, the reason why magma, the Earth's magma and the core is like exploding and rising, is because of how the PROMARE are linked to the core in their world. And essentially, when the PROMARE's senses are linked to the human that they're linked with because of the Burnish, and then when their mental state is like super, like, like they feel what they feel essentially. So let's say if a Burnish person is like under stress and going through some shit, then the PROMARE in the core is feeling it too, and starts to like, go rumble and like erupt and stuff like that. That's why the Earth is magma is rising, because the antagonist is kidnapping Burnish people and using them in scientific experiments, which stresses the PROMARE and the Burnish person, and the whole plot makes sense, and I thought it was pretty clever. It's like, wow, the whole problem was the antagonist, and like how he didn't even think about trying to use his power to solve the problem instead of just running away from it. So that was great. What else about this movie? I really can't think of anything else in this movie. Like overall, like the whole like explanation of this plot and stuff was super amazing to me, and I was like, wow, this is really thought out. In terms of having this as a series, I don't know, it's a really conclusive movie, and I really enjoyed it. Towards here's the thing. Towards the end, they solved the whole problem, and oh yeah, I could talk about this. So yeah, towards the end of the movie, they saved the world and stopped the magma from rising through some means that I can't really explain, because anime and like giant robots and stuff like that, I don't know exactly. I don't know how to explain it exactly. But yeah, they solve it, and essentially they separate the two beings. So the PROMARE's back to their own world, and then Earth and their world. So there's no longer PROMARE's on Earth and Burnish people and the fires, and they can just rebuild the city. So it's back to normal, and everything is the way it's supposed to be. So it's a conclusive story, which I found really surprising, and I mean, I dig it personally. So I can't think of anything else in this movie, but overall, I really liked it. I liked how it had a conclusive ending, and I really enjoyed like how they played off of the themes of the like mutation and people who are different and stuff like that. And like, not all of them are bad. They can be good and coexist with us and whatnot. And just like, I've seen this before, but in terms of like other North American animations like X-Men and stuff. So yeah, that's the spoiler talk for PROMARE. I have nothing else to say. I have nothing negative to say. There's so many positive things I talk about. Freaking Gallus is just great. Freaking being an idiot all the time. What the frick's the girl's name? Aina. This is the girl that gets all the screen time, and there's this hella funny moment where she's like they're ice skating her and Gallus, and then she's like he's going in for this kiss, and it's just like, just do it. It doesn't. There's no romance in this whole film. It's all action and whatnot, but I was just like, just do it. But anyway, that's probably for a sequel or whatever. But what else is there? Yeah, I'm trying to look for anything else to talk about this movie, but overall I really liked it, and I have nothing else to say about this movie. I don't know. So anyways, I guess that's it for me and my review for PROMARE. I really enjoyed it. I'm so glad I watched it and looked into it, and like, okay, maybe I do want to see this movie. If you're a fan of previous Trigger works and whatnot, like Kill la Kill, Gurren Lagann, and why can't I remember the third one? Gurren Lagann, Kill la Kill, Darling the Franxx, duh, that's the recent one, of course. If you're a fan of those, this movie is great, and honestly, I would totally buy this on Blu-ray. For a 2-hour movie, yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I think that's it for PROMARE. Leave your thoughts in the comments below and other things I might have missed talking about in this video. I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions on the movie. If you watched it dubbed or subbed, or you guys like the plot, you guys like the characters, you guys think that not all of the characters in the firefighting team got like character screen time or whatnot. Do you like the villain? All those things, leave in the comments below. And I'll see you guys on the next video on the TheDomotaku channel. So, who the hell do you think I am on the TheDomotaku? And I'm signing out. Good night, guys. I'm super tired.